Howdy everyone! Today we will show you the basic steps we take to prep all our beds for vegetable planting. Let's start with the raised beds out back, as we call it, which is located right behind our plant nursery office. First thing we gotta do is take off the screens and remove any weeds or veggies left over from prior plantings. In these raised beds, we generally plant leafy greens, broccoli, cauliflower, and snap peas. More currently, we also planted potatoes, leeks, and chives. Next, we make sure the drip lines are pulled out so we can begin aerating the soil with a broad fork. Here is Trey demonstrating the proper way to use a broad fork. You can also use a garden fork or pitchfork to help turn the soil. I am using a pitchfork in these beds. Here's a clip of the bed before it is aerated and turned, and what it looks like after it has been fully turned. Time to bring in the compost. Now for some tractor ASMR. Now that we have our compost, we can begin adding it to our aerated beds. After we add about 2 wheelbarrows per bed, we will turn the soil once again before planting out later on. I thought you'd never ask. Adding organic matter to the soil increases fertility, moisture retention, and aeration, which is a win-win for crops and people. Now let's talk about bed orientation. Here in the Outback, we have 7 numbered beds and a potato bed that is not numbered. Beds 1 through 7 are 17 by 4 feet, and the potato bed is 13 by 4. In the next clips, you'll see which direction these beds face. Now let's talk about the row crops. This is located down the orchard driveway off to the left side of the road. To prepare this bed for amendments, first thing I need to do is rip out last season's crop and weed the area. Plants we generally grow in this area includes the Three Sisters garden, fruiting vines like cucumbers, tomatoes, peppers, squash, and melons. Now that the big plants are gone, it's a lot easier to see the weeds popping up. I will remove the drip tape and begin weeding. Now that the beds are weeded, we can till the soil with our rototiller to prepare for compost. Once compost is added, we will till the soil again to mix the native soil with the compost, and now your beds are ready to plant. Because these beds are in the ground, we keep each row furrowed to have a semblance of spacing between crops. Today, I will be planting a quick cover crop. Meet buckwheat. Buckwheat matures in 30 to 40 days, which is the optimal time frame for our purposes. When maturity is reached, we will till the buckwheat back into the soil before planting our spring crops. This cover crop is considered a green manure and will break down, adding fertility to the soil and suppressing weeds while the ground is left fallow. To plant buckwheat, rake the ground lightly, scatter seeds evenly, and rake again. Make sure to water them in. Now let's take a look at our row beds orientation and spacing. Rows 1 through 3 are 67 by 3, and row 4 is 30 by 3. Our in-between row spacing is 1 foot. And last but certainly not least, our World Garden beds. As you can see, these beds have accumulated quite a few weeds, so we will be pulling all of this out and amending the beds. Unlike the Outback bed covers, these bed covers can be completely taken off, which makes the amending process so much easier. These triangle beds are used for our pollinator gardens, which host numerous flowers such as borage, calendula, and sunflowers. Now let's get to amending the beds. Now let's look at the bed orientations. Our World Garden is in the orientation of a clock, as you will see detailed in the next clips. Well, that about covers our farmstead here at the horticulture department. Now let's take a walk.